So my name is Aaron Mell. I'm a staff site reliability engineer at Lumen Digital. I've been with Lumen Digital for about 3 years now. And so Lumen Digital, we're a white label online banking solution. We primarily sell to credit unions and banks. So if you think about our software, it's like if you log in to check your balances or make transfers, that's the sort of software that we sell to credit unions and banks. Our story with Aviatrix began a couple of years ago when security came down and said, due to PCI compliance, so we work in the financial industry and we're regulated by a lot of these different compliance things. One of them is PCI. Said, hey, we need to implement egress controls in all of our environments. So I went out onto the AWS Marketplace and probably did some Google searches. But I really like my approach when I'm looking at vendors is I like vendors where I can just play around with it from the get-go in AWS. So Aviatrix was on the marketplace in AWS and I could just pull down the stuff and I could just look at it and play around with it. So we pulled it down and I looked it over and I really liked it. It was easy to use and we got the POC set up pretty quickly. And it seemed to meet our use case for egress filtering. And we decided to move forward from there and put it in all of our environments. We used the egress stuff for quite a while and didn't really have any problems with it. It worked as designed. And about 6 months ago, we ran into a problem with our network topology at AWS. So in the way kind of our business is structured, we have to connect to each financial institution that we add to our as a customer. We have to connect to their environment. And we typically do that by shipping them some networking equipment, and we establish a VPN tunnel from AWS to their environment. And we were using the original pattern that AWS kind of stood up for this sort of thing was the spoke and hub model. So the spoke being like a couple of Cisco CSR routers, and then each of your VPCs would have a hub, and then the spoke can talk to additional external environments over VPN tunnels. There's one big limitation that AWS has, and we didn't really understand this when we initially set up this pattern, 3 years ago, was that you're limited to the number of BGP routes that you can advertise over a spoke and hub network. We eventually unknowingly reached that limit and caused a couple of issues in our environment. Realized that that's what the problem was, but it kind of blocked us because we needed to add more customers. We had more customers coming down the pipeline, and we couldn't add them because we were at the max number of BGP routes. So we compared some different products. Obviously, Aviatrix was already a strong contender because we were pretty comfortable with Aviatrix and we liked the product that we were using for egress. And so we had a discussion with AWS, and I didn't feel like after talking with AWS that the transit gateway was going to be any better of a solution than what we had with the Cisco CSRs, other than the fact that we didn't have to manage those anymore. And in this case, with the networking stuff, they just didn't have the kind of solution that we really needed to support our business needs. So we decided to engage Aviatrix on creating a transit network with the Aviatrix product. So at Lumen Digital, we're all in on CI/CD and automation. We use Terraform in our environment extensively. So yeah, I like that. I like the fact that we can manage. I like the fact that you can manage anything in Terraform is always a win to me because it just cuts down on manual. It's not certainly the manual work, so I don't really feel like it's difficult to set the stuff up in Aviatrix. But what is difficult is when you have, I think when you have like 30 to 50 to 75 to 100 different VPCs that each have an egress gateway and a transit spoke, it's really difficult to make sure that those are all consistent because it's not the same person that sets them up every time. And even though we have documentation, it's easy to miss a step. And it's when you miss a step and that causes pain because you have to spend time troubleshooting something that doesn't work as expected. I would say that's where the real benefit for us is with automating these things via things like Terraform. So I've been using it now. It's been pretty smooth. I haven't had there's been no problems that I've had with the Terraform provider. It works just like all the other ones we use, like the AWS one and some of the other products we use. It's actually been pretty smooth sailing so far and pretty easy to use. This is one thing that I really like about Aviatrix, by the way, is the amount of engagement that we've had with their support and their engineering staff. So we started the Aviatrix project. They got everything set up, or they helped us get everything set up. We got everything set up on like maybe a couple of 2-hour phone calls that we launched the initial transit. And additionally, like I said, like support when I actually needed support, it's always been really nice. It's probably one of the better support. I think like I compare the support that Aviatrix gives is almost as it may be better in some cases with the support that AVS gives. It's just at that level, like you know that if you send an email, if you need somebody to jump on a phone call and look at something in the environment, they're more than happy to. I've never had a problem with that, and I think that's really great. There's a lot of companies that don't have support that's well, and that's important when you're doing something like building such low level infrastructure, right? Like networking has to be rock solid. It's the base that everything stands on, and if it's not rock solid, it's going to be bad for you and your customers. And I'll say that with the Aviatrix, the transit stuff, we've not had any problems related to the actual networking. Like it's just worked flawlessly. But if it doesn't, if you run into like an edge case, some edge case that you don't understand, support's right there alongside you, and you can drop them a ticket, and they'll jump on a call with you. They will over email or whatever it takes to kind of work through the issue that you're having. So I find that to me is like what really sells. I think what really sells the product, because networking can just be complicated sometimes, and it's nice to have experts on your side that feel like they're in your corner, more than the company's corner, right? They feel like they're on your side when you're talking to them, like they're there to solve your problem. It's not like they're there to close tickets or make their numbers look good. They're there to really help you solve the issues that you have, and to me that's gold. I think that's what makes it so great.